Kia ora, ko wiri o taku ingoa. Welcome to my new series about cooking during COVID-19. We're on day 13 of the measures that the lovely Cindy has brought to our country, and I have to say what an excellent choice she has made, though crikey, I'm suffering in the most middle class white way possible, but still it's really difficult. Anyway, I was thinking today about how many people are buying bucket loads of toilet paper and flour, and how the purchasing of flour has been eclipsed by now the purchasing of cake mix. And I was thinking, what does it mean? What does that mean? It means that people optimistically said, I'm going to, cook things with flour. And now they're like, actually, I don't know and I don't care how to do that. And I'm just going to buy a cake mix and all I have to do is add water, which is fair enough. But if you are, as I am, interested in making beautiful food out of nothing, come and sit by me, because I'm about to take you on a journey where I share some of the things that I've learned. Although I am, pretty relaxed and comfortable in my life, in the past I have had minimal or no income, and I have had to dumpster dive, which has created a wealth of food for me. And also, when I finally saved up enough money to study an undergraduate degree at university, which I swore I'd never do when I was younger, but when I finally did, and I did a Bachelor of Fine Arts, I had $20 a week to spend on food, and so I didn't have any reserves. Many people who've been living below the poverty line on what we call the dole. At a time like this, you don't have reserves, and some of the things that I'm going to suggest to you. It will rely on you having some reserves, and and it's pretty white of me, and it's pretty middle class of me. But I really hope that some of my ideas are helpful. And so the first recipe that I thought that I would share with you is how to make things from powdered milk. And I appreciate that, a kilo of powdered milk might be worth, 5 litres of milk. But what 1 kilo of powdered milk means to you is that you don't have to leave the house to go into a potentially dangerous environment and put your family and yourself and the people that are running the shop that you're buying those things at, you don't have to put them at risk so frequently. So buy yourself a kilo of powdered milk, and you and your family can suck up what powdered milk means in terms of having it in coffee or on cereal. But it is an investment for your future, because you can make yogurt and soft cheeses, labna, things like that. Things that will just make you feel like you're a little bit rich, but they will also make you feel like you understand how our food is produced. And in the last 20 years, with the growing urbanisation of New Zealand, but also the growing distance between ourselves and our food producers, and let's take a moment to say thank you to our food producers. For us to understand what it is, what is the work involved in making our food, and let's appreciate that. But also, at the moment, lots of our infrastructure is under stress. And we all know that our recycling isn't effective. And if you can start making your own yogurt and your own soft cheeses using jars that you've just got left over from, the Marmite or the peanut butter being finished, then you're putting out less in the recycling. And let's face it, at the moment the recycling is probably going to the tip. And if it wasn't, it's just going to another storage facility somewhere in New Zealand because the rest of the world is no longer taking our recycling. So COVID-19 it's time for a change. It's time for us to stop making so much rubbish. And it's time for us to start remembering what it is to eat real food, that we have an understanding of how it's been produced. God, I could wander on. So today I'm going to make some yogurt and some soft cheese, with herby things in it. And it's going to be super delicious. And all you need for this is a jar, some white vinegar, which I highly recommend having in your house anyway, because you want to spray it on every surface at the moment instead of trying to do hand sanitizer or whatever. Just try white vinegar, because it is going to cleanse the surfaces. I can't make any guarantees that it's going to kill the coronavirus, the novel coronavirus, but it has a really good ability to clean surfaces. We need some powdered milk. We need a fabric that we can use to strain what we've made so that we can make cheese. If you can get some herbs, great. There's a lot of public spaces that are far away from where cars drive that do have herbs. Maybe you can try the botanic gardens. Maybe you can call across a fence at a socially appropriate distance to get some rosemary. I'm going to use some garlic chives that I've got growing in a pot in my kitchen to help flavour the soft cheese. You're going to need a wooden spoon and a pot and some way of heating things. I also have a temperature gauge. If you don't have one of those, I can give you some guidance as to what to look for to assess whether it's the right temperature. As I said, some powdered milk, some white vinegar and a jar. I'm going to put, I've got a measurement here that's a cup. There's American cups and there's British cups and there's metric cups and there's imperial cups and there's American standard cups. Don't stress about that. Basically, in my feeling, is that you need about a quarter of this jar full of powder and 3/4 full of water. Yeah, so obviously I've only got 2 hands and I'm doing this with a, Android cell phone. So you can see I've put the powder in, I've filled it up, approximately to the top with water straight from the tap. I'm going to put the lid on and I'm going to shake it and I'm going to put it in the fridge. So you can see, it's, just under... maybe it's just over 3/4 full. I've given it a shake, and so I've got 2 half cups of that copper thing, and just filled it up with water. I'll probably put some more water in, and then I'll put it in the fridge overnight. Right. To be honest, I didn't leave it in the fridge overnight. I just have left it for, a very short time, and I haven't added more water, so it is like, I don't know, 3/4 full, and I am going to just tip it in here and start heating it up. I have shaken it, there is no powder left over, and I'm just going to turn it on to mid-heat, and start heating it up. As I said, I do have a temperature gauge, and I will be putting that in. You'll notice that I'm reserving my egg shells here. I'm using those to help me make bioplastics. But basically, you want it to be pretty hot, but not boiling. The idea, as I was reading in The Art of Fermentation online, is to get it to, it's something to do with casein doing something, blah, blah, blah. I should really help you out with the chemistry here. And I am going to stir it constantly so that it doesn't scald on the bottom. And over here I've set up a bowl with a colander and a cloth which I've wet to make it easier for the fluid to seep through, like to wick through. The cloth that I'm using is a, sort of a woven kind of thing. Anything that you can use that's, clean and got an open enough weave for the fluid to flow through and for the, what is it called, the curds to stay. I've got a wooden spoon here to stir it with. You want to be careful about what wooden spoons you use because wood does absorb flavour. It's going to be a savoury cheese that I make, so it is my savoury wooden spoon. But if you've got a, I don't know, a silicone spatula or something like that, you can also use that, and then it won't absorb the flavour as much. And by crikey, it smells like powdered milk. It really does. Which is not the most delicious smell, but at the same time it kind of smells like a cheese factory, which is a good start. Obviously I'm not a scientist. I would love to be one, to tell you all about the chemistry involved in this. At present it's starting to warm up. There's a little bit of steam coming off. But the temperature at the moment is pretty low. I'm not in a hurry to heat it up, so it's quite a good time to start ranting about political things, but I will refrain. I don't know if you can see like the sort of the wafting steam, but I've been doing this for, I don't know, 3 minutes or something like that, and nothing is sticking. According to my thermometer, we're at 70 degrees Celsius, which is approximately 163 degrees Fahrenheit. There are little wafts of steam, and if I just stick my finger in, I don't go ouch. So don't try this at home. But it's just not quite hot enough. Until it gets another, I don't know, 15 degrees Celsius, 25 degrees Fahrenheit hotter, it's not going to be ready. And in the meantime, I've chopped up my garlic chives, got rid of the bits that are a bit manky, and I've filled up my quarter cup of vinegar. You can see the original half cup is empty that I used to put the milk in. The vinegar, just make it up as you go along. You want the milk to separate after you've poured it in. And if you need a little bit more, don't worry about it, just put it in. And now, even though you can't see the wafts of steam regularly coming off, I believe that it's at the right temperature now. And basically, don't try it at home, but if you put your clean finger in there and you just go, yeah, I wouldn't want to put that in for very long at all. In fact, I'd totally warn the kids against it. Then it's probably ready. And now that it's hot enough, I've taken my temperature gauge out, and if you don't have one, you don't need to do that. But if you do have one, wait for it to cool down before you rinse it off, because it might break the glass. Allow it to cool down a little bit before you add the vinegar, and then add your vinegar, and then you're going to allow it to sit for 15 minutes. So I've just added the vinegar. I'm just going to gently move everything around, and I can already see the curds beginning to develop, and I'm going to leave it for 15 minutes to really separate. You can see now 15 minutes has passed and the separation has happened, and I'm about to put the garlic chives into the mix. and then I'm going to transfer it to the cloth and allow the whey to drain off. And this is what it looks like. I've just put it in and you can see some of the whey is still there. I'll just leave that draining off for a while. And now there's two ways I can go. I could just sort of tie the corners of this cloth together to allow it to continue to drain. Or I could fold the cloth over and put a plate on top with a weight. I think I'll go with the weight. So I've folded the cloth across, and I'm just going to put myself put a side plate on top, and then luckily a friend of mine has left, Herbie, has left a bottle of vodka there. I'm not suggesting that that's what you use. Maybe you could use a brick. And now we wait. And of course, I forgot to talk about how much salt needs to be involved. And I'm just going to say, put a teaspoon of salt around and about there to help soak up, or not soak up, but like help extract the moisture from your cheese. And here we have it, yogurt, delicious, and cheese, delicious. So I've cheated, and I did actually make some a week ago, and I've spliced in the video from that. But I just want to say thank you for joining me. The yogurt that I show in the previous clip, I can show you how to make that, but I'm sure you can Google it as well. Enjoy, kia hau miru, stay safe and stay home.